When I retired from corporate life, one of the pleasures I look forward to is driving my children to and from school. On one such occasion, my, I think, 12-year-old daughter popped a question. Hey, Mom, do you know about CRISPR? And of course, I answered, genetic modification for fruits and vegetables. And then she said, no, Mom, humans. Oh. Hey, Mom, if you had a chance, would you have used CRISPR on your children so they will not die of cancer? And that question took me aback. And I said, that's not an easy question to answer. And then she rolls her eyes, looks at me and says, it's just a yes or no, Mom. And I really struggled answering the question, but I think I managed to say, well, if and when that happens, will the technology be available to everyone? And I mean everyone, even those who are underprivileged? Or will that technology only be available to those who could afford it? And then I saw her face. She was so disappointed in my answer. She looked away, and I knew I lost her. That afternoon really bothered me. So much so, I had to write to her school and said, I am so thrilled you are being progressive and teaching young children emerging technology. But no, you also have the responsibility to include in your teaching the ethics and social implications of technology. I never told her that I wrote to the school because I know she'd call me Karen. That so be it. And here is my struggle with emerging technology, particularly artificial intelligence. There's just so much noise around artificial intelligence today, everywhere you look. Industry meets it with opportunistic excitement, and you could hear, what's our AI strategy? Some workers are more fearful and ask the question, will I lose my job to AI? And then you would have the really cynical and maybe in denial saying, artificial intelligence will never replace what I do. Okay. But even among the experts, and even among the economists who try to project the value of AI, there is a lot of conflict in perspectives. On one hand, you would hear someone say, the truly transformative value of AI is not going to be seen sometime soon, and we'll be lucky if we see it in the next 10 years. Then you would have someone who say, this is probably the best investment we've ever made, spending trillions of dollars in the development of AI. It's incredibly promising. Then you would have another expert say, currently, given the $1 trillion we're investing in artificial intelligence, there is no killer app for it. It should be able to solve the world's really complex problems to justify the investment. But AI isn't designed for that yet. And you would have this off-tangent comment of the thirst for water and power as we develop AI. The point of view being breaking the power grid and accelerating climate change. So, what fully developed AI can do or can't do is yet to be seen. But that doesn't mean we should avoid asking ourselves really hard questions today. And the thorniest question for me is, what does it mean to be human in a tech-centric world? Let's break that down. What is a tech-centric world? I have been tracking artificial intelligence and its development since 2017. And this image made my blood run cold. It basically says that human performance in speech is going to be outpaced by artificial intelligence, or has been outpaced by artificial intelligence. Now, this is of particular interest to me because I'm Filipino. I come from the Philippines, where there is a very, very robust business process outsourcing industry. What is business process outsourcing? Perhaps if you have a problem with your credit card or perhaps your computer, you dial a hotline, and chances are there's a warm-bodied Filipino on the other end of the line addressing your concerns. Now, if AI is to replace humans in that field, then we are threatened to lose the contribution to GDP, which is anywhere from 7 to 8%. And the Philippines is a developing country. Gerd Leonard is a futurist and author who is a prime figure in the debate of humanity and technology. He made me understand that technology has this combinatorial and interdependent quality. What does that mean? Let's say we're developing AI for the medical field, and we're developing spatial computing for agriculture. I'm just making an example. Combinatorial means we can combine these and develop multiple ways, multiple applications for these technologies much faster than we used to before. Now, several narrow AIs can read, write, draw, create, converse. And as you could see, they have outpaced human development or human ability, or if not, poised to do so. Though you may say AI is just a glorified autocomplete. Whatever your position is on AI and how fast it's developing, I think we can all agree that it's developing at a rate that we can't ignore. And Gerd Leonard says that's what makes technology exponential. And the sad reality is human development is linear. So how do we account for the gap between technological development and human development? But Peachy, you may say, haven't we, across so many technological disruptions, always managed the onslaught of these technologies and their effects? Haven't we preserved human ascendancy over technology all this time? And I would agree to some part. But I would also say that this time it's different. It's different in speed, scale, and scope. This new context demands our having the courage to ask and answer existential questions that we used to avoid or would laugh at. The question, what does it mean to be human in a tech-centric world? So let's take that part. What does it mean to be human? There's this very intelligent fellow named Jacob Videberg, who is very accomplished, and I know him because he used to be one of my learning facilitators. What he has taught me is that you can look at the world's problems through three lenses. And that's the lens of philosophy, science, and engineering. I simplified it and use why, how, and what. What makes us human from an engineering perspective? That's fairly easy to answer. How are we human from a scientific lens? That's also easy to answer. And since I have a fondness for beautiful, philosophical, and extremely difficult questions, let's dwell on why are we human? The human-AI dynamic is at its defining juncture. We don't have the luxury of 4 decades to put in place the protection, guardrails, and literal seatbelts that will brace us for this incredibly fast developing technologies. We have to have the utmost conviction on the boundaries we'd like to define as humans and AI merge, literally and figuratively. That in spite of the questions being very, very complex, John Green, an author, gave me so much inspiration and confidence when he said, "We confer personhood to each other through empathy, compassion, and trust. When we acknowledge every person's consciousness, complexity, we live better lives and feel less alone in our grief and in our joy." We are human because we recognize each other's humanness. We can listen and alleviate each other's suffering. And in that sense, being human is something that we are and something we should always aspire to be. Now back to my daughter. When she was 15, she asked me this bombshell of a question. "Mom, should I have kids?" Now, how should an optimistic nihilist, me, answer a teenage pessimist? Again, she asked these weirdest questions, which really challenged me, and I have a master's, right? So I wonder how your kids ask their questions. And if memory serves me right, my answer was, well, I don't think that's a question for me to answer, sweetheart. But let me tell you that you have brought so much joy into my life and into this world. And who knows, maybe your child will do something great, like cure cancer or stop global warming. As human beings, we always have the ability to hope. Being human means we have this ability to hope. And this reminds me of Pandora's box. When she opens up the box and lets everything out, it's such an apt metaphor for the world today. When we've opened the box of technology and let everything, all the technologies out, some do good, some do bad. But Pandora kept something in the box for herself, and she kept hope. And we will always have hope. Another human ability is our ability to wonder. When was the last time you were awed? Really? When did you go, "Oh, I didn't know that," really awed? The last time I was awed when I read the headline, experts say we can fight deep fakes by looking at people's eyes and treating them like galaxies. Can you imagine that? We can fight deep fakes by looking at people's eyes and imagining them like galaxies. Wow, just wow. Another human quality we have is our propensity for despair. In adaptive leadership, we were taught that the work to build a better world is long and trying. Despair will creep in, but you shouldn't dwell on it. You should use it as leverage to manifest progress. Now, the trillion-dollar question is, what are we doing to develop these human attributes in ourselves and in our children? Are we still schooling ourselves and our children in hard skills that in less than 5 years, artificial intelligence can do faster, cheaper, better? So much to reflect on. So if my daughter comes to me today and says, "Mom, how can I be a better human being?" This is going to be my advice to her and to you. Be stupid. Make mistakes. But be human and learn and grow from those mistakes. Be weak. Fail and fall. But be human and rise from every fall. Be vulnerable. Go seek what breaks your heart. Because it is in what breaks your heart that you will find the reason you exist. And finally, be brave. Explore the fullness of your humanity. Become human as you could. Become human as you could possibly be. Thank you.